Hello and welcome to the first TBR of 2024. I have 8 books to share with you today. I don't know if I'm going to get to all of them. 2 of them are audiobooks I have reserved from my library and the other is a poetry collection, but let's just get started. Starting with the poetry collection, we have the selected works of Emily Dickinson. I picked this up during November because it was relevant to my NaNoWriMo project. I've flicked through it, I've read little bits here and there, but I'd love to sit down and read through the entire thing. I do really love Dickinson, and this is a really beautiful physical object, so I'm really excited to get to it. Next up we have This Is How You Lose the Time War. I have been wanting to read this book for years. I remember when it was still not out yet and people were starting to talk about it. I think it sounds really interesting. I don't know a lot about it. I do like to go into books not knowing too much about the plot. From what I know about this, it is time travel, spies, maybe. I've heard that it's beautifully written, and that's something I've been really looking for lately, so I'm really excited. This book is fairly short, so I feel like it's a good thing to try and read at the start of the year to get some momentum going. I'm sorry about the lighting. The sun is in and out all day. It's a nightmare. The next book I'd like to read is The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. I've had this book for a while. Lately, I've been really wanting to read just a good old YA, romance. I don't know why. I haven't wanted to read YA for a while, but this has kind of been calling to me. I think starting the year with something a little easier is a good idea. And this sounds really interesting and cute. So I think it's a good story to start the year with. From what I understand, the 2 main characters are the sons of astronauts, I guess, and the story follows the struggle of that and also them leaning on each other, which sounds great. It's like your perfect YA story. It's been blurbed by Becky Albertalli. I've loved many of her books, so I think I might enjoy this. The next book I'd like to read in January is Pride and Prejudice in the City, also known as Pride and Prejudice in Pittsburgh, different name in different countries. I followed the author on TikTok, basically, and heard about this and thought it sounded good. It's about a 17-year-old who kind of somehow ends up in the Regency period and shenanigans ensue, I assume. It is sapphic and historical, and that sounds great. I do love a good historical romance. I don't know why, but they just hit so good. I have no idea how the plot of this is meant to work out, if she stays in the Regency era or comes back, and then what happens to the romance. I don't know. I can't wait to find out. This next book is one that I've been trying to read for a long time, but I'm realizing that I'm just really struggling to sit down and read it, and so I have loaned the audiobook from the library, and that is Once We Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. I started this book months ago. I got maybe a chapter in, yes, 1 chapter in, and really enjoyed it, but it is quite heavy and I'm just struggling a little bit. This book is about the rewilding of a pack of wolves and a murder, and yeah, fun. Well, not fun for the people in the story, but fun to read about. From the first chapter that I have read, it is incredible. I know 1 chapter can't tell you everything about a book, but I really enjoyed it, so I cannot wait to listen to the audiobook. I do only have a week left on the loan, so I need to get to that. Next up is a book I bought because I thought the cover was pretty, which is a habit that I have, and that is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid. I don't know much about this book, but it does have a really beautiful cover, and so I bought it. It was Black Friday sales, I was online, I wasn't thinking, but I do think I'm going to enjoy this book. I've seen it referred to as dark academia. I don't know if it is actually dark academia or just has the vibes. Either way, I'm interested. From the blurb, I'd assume it is dark academia. I don't know if it's going to be actually critiquing the academic world, but I am really interested in reading this book. I've been wanting to dive into a lot more dark academia and adjacent stories, so I'm really excited about this. I've also been seeing it getting some hype on TikTok, but I haven't actually seen anyone specifically talking about the story. It's just been in a lot of lists, so I'd love to know my own opinion on it. Again, I like to go into books without knowing too much, and especially when they're dark academia, I feel like I don't want to know anything, so I'm not going to look anything up about this book. Next up is a book I bought basically the day it released, or a few days later because I was in a plane, but one that I was anticipating so much and then just never got to, and that is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I have read most of Cassandra Clare's work and enjoyed most of it, This is the first thing of hers that I intend to read that's not a part of the Shadowhunter Chronicles, which is a little bit nerve-wracking. This is a very large book though, and it is high fantasy and I am just a little bit afraid, and so I have the audiobook on loan from my library. It is a very long audiobook, so I don't know how it's going to go, how I'm going to dedicate so much time to it, but I will get it done. And if my loan ends, I will just read the physical book. This is a really beautiful cover. I do love it a lot. Ooh, it's so reflective. And all I really know about this story is that the main character is like a body double for a prince or something like that. That's all I really feel like I need to know for a story like this. It's high fantasy, we're following a body double, story happens. Now that I'm holding it, again, I am actually really excited to read this. I might have to start it today. Wow, where did that light come from? Damn. And the last book that I'd like to get to in January is In These Hollowed Halls, a dark academia anthology. I am currently reading an anthology. It is A Stroke of the Pen by Terry Pratchett, and I'm really enjoying being able to sit down of an evening and read an entire story. I'm trying to get back into the habit of reading every day, and so being able to finish a story in one go has been really beneficial. And so I'd like to do the same thing with In These Hollowed Halls. I had not heard of this book until I saw it in a store, and I picked it up because I saw ML Rio was in it. One of my favourite books of 2023 was If We Were Villains, so I'm very excited to get to this. I feel like this is more like light reading, even if the stories aren't light. Because they are short, you can sit down, read it, and then put it down, if that makes any sense. So there we have it, the 8 books I would love to get to in January. This is a very ambitious TBR for me, but I do have faith in myself. I typically start the year off pretty well with reading, so maybe I can get to it. There are a few audiobooks, a few shorter books. I really think I can get through most of these in a month. But that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe. I upload twice a week. Let me know the book you would most like to read in January, and I will see you next time. Bye.